Hi, I'm Dr. B, Psychiatric Nurse Practitioner. Today I'm going to be talking about relationships are a priority. And this is something I say all the time in the clinic. I talk about this a lot when I'm counseling people in relationships, even just my friends. We talk about relationships being a priority. I truly believe that relationships are the only thing that's eternal. So if you believe that there's a heaven and that we die and we go to heaven, we still have those same relationships in heaven. So, you know, your friends will still be your friends. You'll know who they are. I lost a son. I've lost two sons, but I will be able to see them again in heaven. And so relationships to me are eternal. And so that's one of the main reasons why I think that they are a priority. Why else do I think they're a priority? Because they allow us to grow. They give us so much quality of life when you have good, solid relationships in your life. What I see a lot of times with so many people is that they have this kind of all or nothing mentality around their relationships. So if it's not all good, they kind of cut that person out of their life, or they don't spend any time with that person. And sometimes it's even with family, but even in our interactions with people, kind of meeting people where they are and having positive relationships, because even if that person is not positive to you, maybe you are changing them. Maybe you are giving them some of your positive energy. So I just encourage you to find ways to do that. That's how we're going to make this a better place to live, a better quality of life, if we can kind of share that positive energy and that positive thing about relationships, right? But we also need boundaries. I know that I'm a big relationship person. I'm an extrovert. I like to be around people. I get energy from being around people. I process externally. I'm like extrovert extreme. And so my introvert friends are like, well, I can't do that because that's not me. And so you do have to, if you're an introvert, you do have to have your boundaries around those relationships. But as an extrovert, I've had to learn how to have boundaries around those relationships. So as I become public in this YouTube channel and share a lot of my personal things, I have to learn how to have boundaries for myself as well, because I taught at a college for 9 years, and I would share a lot of things with all of my students, and maybe that some of those boundaries should have been to protect myself, right? So even extroverts need to learn some of these boundaries. So when I talk about relationships being a priority, I think we also need to organize those relationships. So we have a choice opportunity called Relationships Are a Priority, and I've actually identified 5 levels of relationships, right? Because I also find that a lot of people do this all or nothing, right? This person's my best friend, or maybe they're an acquaintance, right? But I have, I think, 900 Facebook friends, right? These are probably more of acquaintances. I call them friends. Again, I'm an extrovert, so that's a little extreme. But so when you talk about 5 levels of friendship, if you think of every person that you come in contact with is actually relational, right? You are the person at the grocery store that you see, almost every time you go check out, right? They're not your friend. They're probably not even an acquaintance. You may not even know their name. But that relationship is also important, because you could be giving them some positive energy, right? I don't want to be that person that is always giving negative energy. I mean, I have bad days. I'm sure I give it. But I don't want to be that person that's always giving that negative energy. I want to, even the people I don't really know, I want to say this relationship is a priority. This person is important. And I want to be nice to them, right? So that's what I call kind of the level 5 relationship, right? You don't really have a relationship with them. You might visually know who they are, what they do. You may know their first name. but you can still have a positive impact in their life. Then the next level, the level 4, what I call the level 4 relationships, are what most people would call kind of your acquaintances, right? These are, my 900 Facebook friends. If I ran into them in the store, I would, I might remember your name. I'm bad with names, but, I know who they are. I probably know what they do. I might even know, that they have 3 kids. Facebook allows us to kind of know a lot of these things that even for our acquaintances, right? But these people, we do have an impact in their life. What we post on Facebook can be positive and encouraging to people, right? And so these relationships are important, and you never know when these relationships will change, right? So someone who you may call a level 4, an acquaintance type friend, may eventually, a couple years from now, you guys work in the same place and then you become closer friends. If you didn't think of that person as important back when they were just an acquaintance, you're probably never develop into more of a friendship, right? You might lose that opportunity because, they think you don't like them or whatever. So again, just kind of making people a priority. People are important. We're losing some of that as we go through this rat race, and we're, trying to be productive all the time. And, and we want those close personal relationships. So sometimes we don't give any energy or time to the ones, that we would call an acquaintance. So my level 3 friends, these are friends. And these people, maybe I work with them. I consider the people that I work with my friends. So, a lot of times your work friends would be kind of your level 3 friends. Maybe, you trust them with work things, you trust them with some of your social stuff, but you might not be trusting them with any of your personal information or personal struggles. And that's okay. It's okay to enjoy people that you don't trust 100%. Okay? And I think this is super important because we all want people that we trust 100%. But people will fail you. You will get your feelings hurt. And unfortunately, when something negative happens, we create this negative loop in our head, and that's all we think about instead of the positive. I have a friend that is like, well, I have committed to only thinking about the positive, the negative for 5 minutes, and then I got to let it go, right? But what happens with a lot of people, I notice, is that they have a negative, and that's what they remember. And I can give you a silly example. My uncle called me fat when I was like 10 or 12, and I still remember that now, right? I'm sure he said a million nice things to me, but I remember the day he called me fat, right? But we've got to stop doing that. And so when people offend you, and right now I'm talking about these level 3 friends, but even your people you trust that are closer, they can hurt your feelings too. And we have to learn to continue in these relationships. So level 3 friends, I feel like I have a lot of positive influence on my level 3 friends, right? These are the people that, follow me closely on Facebook. They, we talk, we call each other, even if it's only every, couple months. I have my best friend since I was 2 years old. We don't spend hardly any time together in the last 10 years. However, when she calls me, it's just like that, right? And so this is kind of jumping up into those level 2 friends, those people that you kind of trust. You trust with personal things. You would ask them advice on something, and would give advice, and you kind of have had some intimate personal conversations about things. These friends are important. And then what I call my level 1 friends, even the extrovert that I am, I would say I only have 2 level 1 friends, right? And so this goes back to all or nothing thinking. I think that sometimes people don't have good, solid friendships because they think somebody's a level 1 friend and maybe they hurt their feelings, and so then they just cut them off and they're not friends with them anymore, or they don't, trust them at all. When if you had good boundaries and good assessment, you would realize that maybe they were always a level 3 friend, that you could trust them with work stuff, and you could, go out and have a good time and have a drink and be social and enjoy things together. But you wouldn't tell them your personal information. And so kind of knowing where people stand so that you can find those 1 or 2 people that can be that close, 100% trusted friend. And I think another thing that we do is we want our significant other, our husband, wife, we want that person to be that level 1 friend. And if you've been married long enough, you know that person hurts your feelings at some point or another, right? And so then, you struggle with that. But it's okay for your spouse to be a level 2 friend. That's a very close relationship. You trust them with a lot of things. But, maybe there's, and I'm not saying bad things that you should be sharing. I'm saying, but maybe there's parts of you that your significant other doesn't know. And that's okay. It's okay for your significant other to be a level 2 friend, right? But again, managing those expectations around relationships so that you can have some healthy relationships. So that's kind of my thing on relationships. I talk about relationships a lot, and kind of the level thing is about managing expectations of people and finding those 1 or 2 people that you can 100% trust. But relationships are a priority. We have another video that talks about relationships with your children, right? That relationship is a big priority. And we have a choice opportunity around that. So the choice opportunity for this video talks about the levels and managing the expectations of your friends and kind of making relationships a priority. So you can click and download a link. It'll take you to a place where you can receive that choice opportunity for free. So share if you feel like there's someone in your life that needs to be challenged in relationships. Share this with them. If you've liked the video, like it. But my whole series is about, creating videos that help people to become mentally strong, okay? And if you want to be a part of that, subscribe. We're going to put out a new video every Tuesday and Friday, and you'll get alerts around that. And remember that you are mentally strong.